Hi guys, and welcome back here to another tutorial or another part of our tutorial. And if you remember what we did in the last part, then now we can tune down our engine. So for example, if I leave it 10,000, press H and press F, which is a simulation, now my car can move. Of course, that is not the best one, but now we need to implement a logic to control the car itself. Right. So how can we implement this stuff? So the first thing I like to do is I like to go back to my car. And here we have a type of actor, right? And there's a problem here, but we're going to figure it out. So the first thing I want to do is go back to my pawn. And let's take a look how a character works and how our master part works. So first of all, we cast everything to a controller. We don't need to carry about this stuff here, technically, right? But what do we need to do? So we get the player controller and we set self. That's fine. Here we have aim, we have move, and we have a bunch of other things like jump and things like that, right? So in a certain way, we would need to implement some logics when we trigger the move, for example, right? So for example, if I turn this off, I can't move my character, you see? So we need to implement a couple of things. So when we possess this character, we can actually control the car, which is something that we need to do here, right? So let's just figure out a way we can actually implement this. So this, I'm just going to delete it, and I'm going to say move forward or backward, right? Now what we need to do here is that we need to copy a couple of things. So, backward. We need to implement a couple of things. So the first thing is that we need to change our type to character. Let's go back here and let's search for character. Now it should add us a capsule, right? So let's just compile and save. But we can kind of change the size of this capsule as we don't really care about the size of the capsule. Let's just double check to make sure everything is working fine. So we have the capsule and simulate physics. Just compile and save. Actually, I think I did a mistake here. Let's just do a couple of Ctrl Z's because H. And now we can press F. Yeah. So I think I'm just will try one thing. So compiler. Where is the part? So now yeah. Master part. It's gonna add the master part here. Press play. H. And we're gonna press F. The problem is that we end up creating a problem here for us, but that's fine. We don't need to worry about this right now. Just press simulate. That is just some small issue we're gonna have to figure out later on. But anyway, it's no problem. So what we need to do, actually, we need to change this to a class. And we need to change this to a pawn. The reason why this needs to be a pawn is because we can possess this character, right? And that's the reason why. Now, if you notice, this is going to be a problem because if I press H, I still can simulate that. But don't worry, it's just because we started adding this stuff on a different place. So just press H, press simulate, and does not have the part anymore. But anyway, we're just gonna leave the way it was here. All right, anyway, now that we have the poem, we need to possess our poem, right? And what we can do here, I'm gonna create a command that actually, the best place that we can do this, it's on the player controller, because then we can just say, hey, player controller, now you are X and now you are Z, you know. So we can use this existing player controller, right? And in here, because we already have a bunch of logic here that we can handle. We have the mapping. I can just like create a new event or custom event called API possess car, right? Perfect. Right, so now for us to be able to control the car itself, we need to do a couple of things. First of all, we need to have a reference of the car, right? So we're going to go back here to our controller, and we're going to create here a car ref. And remember, we are possessing the master part, okay? That's cool. Now, the next thing we need to do is that we need to call a node called possess, right? And we're going to possess this poem. Now, if I go back here to the possess car, what I can do, the way you can actually trigger this is by going to the building mode, right? And we don't need to add a force anymore, but we need to get our player controller, right? And if you remember, this right now is attached to the third person character, right? So the third person character, we do create here the player controller, right? So what we can actually do, go back to this part here, right? So basically we're gonna get the owner, sorry, get owner. I'm gonna just cast to this character here, so to the third person character. Go back to here, sorry, the components. So I'm gonna cast to this, and for now I'm just gonna do a print, and if we have this hello, it means everything went successful. See, hello, so everything's good. Now that we have the car here, I'm gonna get controller or get player. Do we have the player controller? We don't have the player controller. This is good. So what we can do is that we get promote a variable called controller. I could cast it, but you know, player controller. I am just gonna access the variable from here. I'm gonna compile and save. Go back to this one. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna call the API possess. I think there's a problem. Ah, right. I see. We are. Well, in that case, guys, so just forget about this variable. Don't worry about it. Let's just go back here. Right. Later on, we can do this using an interface. But for now, let's just make the logic work first, because otherwise we'll have to cast too many things. But anyway, get controller, and we're gonna cast it to the player controller. And now we can do like a API possess the car. Now it's gonna ask, but which one is the car? Is the master part, and we can add it here, right? We can compile and save. Now let's see, H, let's press F and see what happens. All right, I have the car. This is good. This is good. You see, I'm not controlling the character anymore, but now I have the car. So let's do like this. Make sure you get to this point, and then in the next lesson we carry on with this. If you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.